A Complete Unknown is a new biopic about musician Bob Dylan starring Timothy Chalamet. So today, let's see if it's worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin. All I do here is watch movies and shows in theaters and on streaming services. In the early 1960s, 19-year-old Bob Dylan arrives in New York with his guitar and revolutionary talent, destined to change the course of American music. Timothy Chalamet is a great pick for a young Bob Dylan. Now, Bob Dylan isn't my kind of music, but I've never turned off a song that Bob Dylan has played. I've heard his music before, and I've always enjoyed listening to him, but it's not my genre. I don't really listen to music similar to Bob Dylan. I do understand the influence he's had on musicians and how revolutionary he was and how impactful he is to the music scene. So going into A Complete Unknown, I hoped to learn more about Bob Dylan as a musician and seeing a great performance from Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet gives a great performance as Bob Dylan. Mystery to the musician, things that we don't fully understand about him as a person, how quiet he is at times. Timothy Chalamet transforms into the role as Bob Dylan, from the music scenes to the concerts to some of the relationship struggles he has along the way. He's able to bring that depth to this character and some of the more personal aspect to this movie. And Timothy Chalamet, I do believe that he could be nominated for Best Actor within this movie, as he really does go all in with this role. And the supporting cast is great as well. Elle Fanning as a girlfriend of his that Bob Dylan chose to not release the full name. We also have Edward Norton as Pete Seeger and Monica Barbero as Joan Baez. But one big standout is Boyd Holbrook as his brief appearance as Johnny Cash. So James Mangold has directed 2 films now with Johnny Cash in it, one with Joaquin Phoenix and now this one with Boyd Holbrook, but all performances are really good. I like Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash. Lightened up some of the tone of the movie and brought like this cool atmosphere, but Monica Barbero and Elle Fanning stand out within this film as they had relationships with Bob Dylan. So they get to spend a lot of time with him, and we see that personal aspect to this movie when it comes to relationships that are explored within this film. But they give a lot of the dramatic performances, especially Elle Fanning, as she sees what Bob Dylan is doing to her and what it's happening to their relationship. Elle Fanning brings out more of that dramatic performance. James Mangold directs this film with a lot of care to Bob Dylan as a musician, but understanding also that he is very mysterious. Growing up, what I knew of Bob Dylan is the We Are the World song, and I always felt like he was very out of place within that song. And I watched the documentary, and it really seems like he had a hard time kind of fitting in with the music scene, and we do feel that within this film. But also we see that transition from how he grew so popular as a folk singer and then started to transition into having more electrical instruments and having other people support him. He wasn't relying so much on his guitar and his harmonica. We also had some other instruments along the way, and people were really upset. That was kind of thrown off by all that, because I don't really know so much about Bob Dylan and his transition, but when he started to transition into more of the electrical instruments, his fan base was highly upset with all of that. And so you see how he established himself and also wanted to eventually challenge himself, and people didn't really kind of buy into all of that. And that's a highlight of this film. It does come towards the end of the movie, but you really do feel that impact with his change and what it meant to him. Real quick, if you're interested in seeing A Complete Unknown, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you have seen the film, comment down below with your overall thoughts on the film. If you'd like to see more exclusive content from me, consider joining my channel as a member, and there you can unlock exclusive movie reviews and ranking videos. While I do think that James Mangold directs this film very well and performances are very strong from Timothy Chalamet and the supporting cast, there is this level of understanding of this character, Bob Dylan, that isn't there. Like, we don't fully understand certain situations that he's going through, relationships that he has, how complex they are, struggles along the way. his relationship with Elle Fanning, and then his relationship with Monica Barbaro. You fully don't understand certain things that he does, and you could argue on one point that it does provide that mystery to Bob Dylan, but also you don't fully get to know him outside of the music scene. Like, it is focused on him creating music, that transition to electrical instruments, but there isn't so much depth given to Bob Dylan as a person. You didn't fully get to understand things that were going on in his head, certain reasons for things that he has done. You get to that certain point in the movie where he wants to kind of venture into a different genre of music that is just kind of glossed over. And so while this movie is beautifully shot from James Mangold, and you have just so much dedication to the costumes and the setting and everything within all of that, and performances are very strong, I think there are plenty of times within this film that they really could have slowed down the approach to this movie and focus a little more on who Bob Dylan is, because we see that he's so talented, he has this drive, but I just wanted to know a little more about him. And when it comes to the development of Bob Dylan as a person, it's very lacking. The performances are good. I like Bob Dylan as a musician more now than ever, but I wanted to know more of that personal life of Bob Dylan, more of the relationships with him and Elle Fanning and Monica Barbaro. I wanted to see those struggles. I wanted to see more arguments. I wanted to see him fighting with himself of moving from folk music to a different style of music form. I wanted to see that struggle within himself. There's so much more that this movie could have done, really pushing the limit on Bob Dylan and just understanding him as a character. But you could totally argue, and I could fully understand if you said that they're just creating that mystery to Bob Dylan. But I just wanted to know more about him, and I feel like I didn't get so much of that within this film. It looks great, the performances are great, the story is there. James Mangold once again just proves that he is such a talented director, and I like seeing Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash within this film. There are some cool references along the way, and we see that style of music, that folk music that's so important to him and so good to hear. And it's so amazing to hear Timothée Chalamet within this film. I just wanted to know more about Bob Dylan. I'm gonna go ahead and give A Complete Unknown a B-. Thank you guys for checking a review for A Complete Unknown, the new biopic starring Timothée Chalamet. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.